Today, I want to share a story with you. And it's not just any story. It's one that holds a really powerful lesson, especially if you've ever had that little spark of an idea, that thought about building something completely from scratch. This is all about the incredible power of just beginning.
Everything kicks off with this one simple question, and it's a question born out of total desperation. I want you to imagine a place where hope is running out, where the situation just feels, well, impossible. This question, why should we suffer like this? It's the tiny spark that's about to ignite a huge fire.
So picture this. We're in a small village called Champenoir. It hasn't rained in forever, so the crops have failed. But on top of that, there's this crippling tax that hangs over everyone's head. The vibe? It's pretty much just resignation. People have accepted this is how things are. But in every great story of change, there's always one person, just one, who looks at the way things are and says, nope, not me.
Okay, so this is where the story really takes a wild turn. The villagers are about to get hit with a challenge that seems absolutely, completely impossible. A British officer, full of arrogance, comes up with this ridiculous wager. He basically says, play a game of cricket against us. Now, look at the stakes here. If the villagers somehow win, the tax is gone, cancelled. But if they lose, the tax gets doubled. I mean, talk about an all-or-nothing bet, with the odds just impossibly stacked against them.
And here's the real kicker, the part that makes this whole thing just absurd. The villagers, they had never even heard of cricket. How are you supposed to win a game you don't even know how to play? That's like someone telling you to build a billion-dollar tech company without knowing what code is. It's a total setup for failure.
But, in the face of impossible odds and all that fear, sometimes one person's courage can change absolutely everything. This next moment, this is the most critical point in any new venture.
And there it is. 2 little words from our hero, Bhuvan. Let's try. That's it. That is the moment. It's not some detailed 50-page business plan. It's not a guarantee of success. It's just the commitment to begin, to take that first terrifying step into the unknown. This, right here, is the founder's leap of faith. So the decision's been made. But as we all know, a decision is just the start. Now comes the really hard part, building something from absolute zero.
Now, what's so fascinating here is who Bhuvan gets for his team. He doesn't have a list of all-stars to choose from. He just has who's around. A kid with a ton of energy but no experience. A super strong guy with zero technique. A village outcast. A drummer who can't even speak. He even has someone who's not fully on board. This isn't the dream team you read about in magazines. This is a real startup's first team, a scrappy collection of passionate, imperfect people who are just available.
So, you've got an imperfect team and zero knowledge. What on earth do you do? Well, you find a mentor, and that's exactly what happens. Out of nowhere, this unexpected guide shows up. She doesn't do the work for them, no, but she teaches them the rules, the fundamentals. She helps them see their mistakes and get a little better, day by day. This is your angel investor, your seasoned advisor, that mentor who gives you just enough guidance to get off the ground. And let's be super clear about this. The journey was not some fun, easy training montage. It was hard. They argued with each other, they made a ton of mistakes, and you better believe they felt like giving up. This is the messy middle of any project, right? It's the grind. It's where real teams are either forged in fire or they just fall apart.
But they didn't fall apart. They kept going. And after all that struggle, after all that practice, the day of the final test finally arrives, match day.
And on that day, you could just feel it. Something profound had shifted. They weren't just a random collection of individuals anymore. All those arguments, all those mistakes, that shared struggle, it had melted them down and reforged them into a single, cohesive unit. They had a shared purpose. They were, finally, a team. And during the actual match, the magic of that imperfect team just explodes onto the field. The guy nobody wanted anything to do with, he becomes a key player. The inexperienced ones, they step up and have their moment to shine. Every single person, with their own weird, unconventional skill, contributes something vital to the whole. That's the power of a diverse team where everyone has a role to play.
It's an amazing story, isn't it? A classic underdog victory. But here's where we get to the real heart of it. The reason we're talking about this today.
So let me just ask you, do you honestly think this story is actually about a game of cricket?
Of course not. Not even close. Look at this. This story is the story of every single startup. Bhuvan's idea? That's the founder's vision.
His ragtag, imperfect team, those are your first hires. They had zero resources. They were completely bootstrapped. And that unexpected mentor? That's the guidance and advice that every single founder is desperately looking for. It's a perfect one-to-one allegory for the entire entrepreneurial journey.
So the most important takeaway is this. This story isn't about being the smartest or the most prepared or the most talented. It's a story about a completely normal person facing impossible odds with no real knowledge, no money, and definitely no perfect plan, who still, somehow, found the courage to just start.
And if you look closely at Bhuvan's journey, you find this simple but incredibly powerful playbook for any founder. Trust your people, even when they're not the perfect fit on paper. Be ready to learn as you go, because you won't know everything. When help is offered, take it. You can't do it alone. And maybe most important of all, just keep going, no matter what.
This right here, this brings it all home. You do not need to have all the answers. You don't need the perfect product or the perfect team right out of the gate. You don't wait around to become perfect. You begin. And it's through the messy process of doing that that you become better.
And all of that leaves us with just one final, very personal question. After hearing this, after seeing how the most impossible journeys can start with one simple decision, what will you begin?